The OneXPlayer Onexfly F1 Pro promises desktop-level power in your hands. Either we have finally reached true pocket-sized PC gaming heaven, or we are paying premium money to beta test someone else's experiment. A 12-core 24-thread AMD Ryzen AI HX 370 CPU, Radeon 890M RDNA 3 graphics with 12 compute units at up to 2900 MHz, a 7-inch 144Hz OLED at 800 nits, and a 65Wh battery in a handheld. On paper it sounds insane, but here is the thing. Whenever a spec sheet looks this good, something usually gives. After running this thing hard for a solid 2 weeks, from AAA games to indie titles and emulation, I have some thoughts. I have put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after those 2 weeks of testing. Let us set expectations clearly. The OneXfly F1 Pro is marketed as a premium handheld gaming PC that can run modern AAA games smoothly thanks to that Ryzen AI HX 370 and Radeon 890M combo deliver gorgeous, fast visuals with a 7-inch OLED, 144 Hz refresh rate, 152% sRGB, and 112% DCI-P3 coverage. Give you long sessions with a 12600 mAh, 65Wh battery, and 65W fast charging. Provide immersive sound with Harman-certified speakers tuned by Harman Audio EFX sounds like the complete package, right? Especially at a price point around $1,639.99 with a 3.9-star rating on Amazon. But here is where things get interesting. Reality check time. They claim desktop-level gaming in your hands. What you actually get is more like a very powerful laptop squeezed into a small shell, with all the compromises that implies. In lighter esports titles like Valorant, Apex Legends, and Rocket League at 1080p, high settings, yes. The F1 Pro can push well over 60 FPS, sometimes even flirting with that 144 Hz refresh if you tune settings. That part is legit. But once you hit heavy AAA games like Cyberpunk 2077 or Starfield at native resolution, high settings are a fantasy unless you are okay living around 30 to 45 FPS and leaning hard on upscaling. The silicon is strong, but it is still thermally limited in a handheld chassis. Let us be real. A 12-core 24-thread CPU in this size is impressive on paper, but it is not running like a full desktop chip when the fans are screaming and the chassis is trying not to cook your hands. They claim the 7-inch OLED gives you large-screen gaming laptop quality. What you actually get is a fantastic-looking panel that your battery absolutely hates. OLED, 800 nits, 144 Hz, and high TDP CPU and GPU is a brutal combo. In my testing at 20 to 25 watts TDP, mixed AAA gaming landed around 1.5 to 2.5 hours. Drop to 15 watts in tweak settings, you can stretch closer to 3 hours in less demanding games. That is decent for a handheld PC, but nowhere near the all-day portable fantasy some marketing hints at. They claim a big 65Wh battery as if that solves everything. Here is where it gets mathematically impossible. If your system is pulling 25 to 30 watts under load, 65Wh simply cannot give you long desktop-like sessions. Do the math. Even at 25 watts, you are looking at around 2.5 hours max in ideal conditions. The battery size is good, but physics still exists. They claim Harman-certified speakers with surround stereo that makes you feel like you are in the game. What you actually get is very good, loud, clear audio for a handheld, but still small drivers in a plastic shell. Compared to something like a Steam Deck OLED, the F1 Pro sounds a bit fuller and punchier, especially in the highs, but you are not replacing real speakers or good headphones. And then there is the software and reliability side. That 3.9 rating on Amazon is a red flag. Dig into the reviews and you see a pattern. People love the performance and screen, but complain about occasional software glitches, fan curve weirdness, sleep and wake issues, and confusion around drivers and recovery. The listing even includes a factory reset process using BIOS and a WinPE recovery environment. That is handy, but also quietly admits they expect a chunk of users to have to nuke and reinstall to fix problems. Let us break down some key areas. Sound quality. The Harman Audio EFX tuning is not fake marketing. It does sound more refined than many rivals. Dialogue is clear, and music has some low-end presence. But here is what nobody tells you. Once the fans ramp up under load, the noise competes directly with the speakers. In a quiet room, it is fine. On a train or in a noisy house, you are reaching for headphones. Battery life. On paper, 12600 mAh and 65 Wh looks huge. In practice, with that OLED at 144 Hz and the APU drawing 20 to 30 watts, expect 1.5 to 3 hours of real gaming. Emulation or indie titles fare better, and capping refresh to 60 Hz plus lowering brightness helps a lot. What the marketing does not mention is that to get those longer sessions, you need to dive into power profiles and TDP limits. Out-of-the-box settings lean more toward performance than efficiency. Build quality and ergonomics. The shell feels solid and premium, with decent ergonomics for a 7-inch handheld. No obvious flex, buttons and joysticks feel responsive, and the weight distribution is acceptable for longer sessions. But some users report minor QC issues. Slightly loose buttons, occasional stick calibration quirks, and fan noise variations unit to unit. That is the risk with smaller brands pushing bleeding-edge hardware this aggressively. Software and support. Here is what nobody tells you up front. Owning a device like this is closer to owning a small gaming laptop than a plug-and-play console. You are dealing with Windows updates, GPU drivers, BIOS settings, and possibly that recovery process the listing describes. For a tinkerer, that is fine. For someone who just wants to play, it can feel like tech roulette. So, verdict: buy with caution. The OneXPlayer Onexfly F1 Pro absolutely delivers on raw power, an incredible 7-inch 144 Hz OLED, and surprisingly good speakers. For enthusiasts who love tweaking power limits, undervolting, and tuning each game, it can be an awesome little monster. But at around $1,639.99, this is not a casual impulse buy. You are paying premium money for top-end silicon in a small form factor, plus some early adopter rough edges. Average battery life for the power it pushes, noticeable fan noise, and a software experience that sometimes needs babysitting. Worth it if you know what you are getting into and you specifically want a maxed-out handheld Windows PC. If you want something simple and polished, you might want to look at more mainstream options or wait for prices to settle. Stay sharp, do not let specs alone empty your wallet. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you figure out if the OneXfly F1 Pro is actually right for you, I have put the link to check current pricing and read more real user reviews down in the description. If you decide to buy through that link, it helps support the channel and lets me keep doing these deep dive tests without costing you anything extra. Drop a comment telling me what handheld you are using right now and which one you want me to investigate next. Hit like if this helped, subscribe if you want more no BS breakdowns of overhyped tech, and I will see you in the next one.